Right, we are live, and we are continuing on with the Learn CSS, a lesson on changing the box model. All right, let's keep going. Slowly loading. What? What's taking a while? What happened? Oh no, what happened? Oh my god, I have to stop. Oh my god, let me stop. Oh no, just kidding. We're here. We're back. Why change the box model? The last lesson focused on the most important aspects of the box model: box dimensions, borders, padding, and margin. The box model, however, has an awkward limitation regarding box dimensions. This limitation is best illustrated with an example. In this example above, a headings element box has solid, black, 1 pixel thick border. The height of the box is 200 pixels while the width of the box is 300 pixels. A padding of 10 pixels has also been set on all 4 sides of the box content. Unfortunately, under the current box model, the border thickness and the padding will affect the dimensions of the box. The 10 pixels of padding increases the height of the box to 220 pixels and the width to 320 pixels. Next, the 1 pixel thick border increases the height to 222 pixels and the width to 322 pixels. Under the box model, the border thickness and padding are added to the overall dimensions of the box. This makes it difficult to accurately size a box. Over time, this can also make all of web pages content difficult to position and manage. In this brief lesson, you will learn how to use a different technique that avoids this problem altogether. Alright, this is a cool game. Let's play. Anyways. So let's go on. Changing the box model. Box model content box. Many properties in CSS have a default value and don't have to be explicitly set in the style sheet. For example, the default font weight of text is normal. But this property value pair is not typically specified in a style sheet. The same can be said about the box model that browsers assume. In CSS, the box sizing property controls the type of box model the browser should use when interpreting a web page. The default value of this property is content box. This is the same box model that is affected by border thickness and padding. Study the diagram to the right. It illustrates the default box model used by the browser, content box. When you're done, continue to the next exercise. Okay, so there's top padding, left padding, bottom padding, right padding. There's this right border, 1 pixels. Actual rendered width. Okay, so they added 1 plus 20 plus 158 plus 20 plus 1 pixels. That would be 179, 199, 200 pixels equals actual rendered width of an elements box. More math. The border box. Fortunately, we can reset the entire box model and specify a new one. Box sizing. Border box. The code in the example above resets the box model to border box for all HTML elements. This new box model avoids the dimensional issues that exist in the former box model you learned about. In this box model, the height and width of the box will remain fixed. The border thickness and padding will be included inside of the box, which means the overall dimensions of the box do not change. In the example above, the height of the box would remain at 200 pixels, and the width would remain at 300 pixels. The border thickness and padding would remain entirely inside of the box. Study the diagram to the right. It illustrates a new box model, border box. So border box is a type of box model where we can limit the whole size of what is actually rendered. So if this is 200px, they will fit everything inside to be 20 pixels. So instead of specifying the exact width of this content, which is 158 pixels, we only have to specify the height and width. And just by auto, it would know that it should be 158 pixels if we are limited to a width of 300 pixels. So here they specified it with hard code. And here they let the border box model determine what the width of the content should be. The new box model. Now that you know about the new box model, let's actually implement it in the browser. It's that simple. In the example above, the universal selector asterisk targets all elements on the web page and sets their box model to the border box model. In style.css, change the box model for all elements on the web page to the new box model. You probably didn't see a difference in the web page to the right. That's okay. The new box model simply makes sure that the dimensions of elements remain the same regardless of the border width and padding. Oh, that's great. Neat trick. Alright, so what do we do here? We want to target all elements with the universal selector and set the box model to be border box. And I don't think there's much of a difference. It should have stayed the same, which was supposed to happen. Oh, okay, so the box model property is box sizing. There we go. Was it always box sizing? Let me see. It was always box sizing. Okay. Well, there we have it. Let's go on to the next page. Review, changing the box model. In this lesson, you learned about an important limitation of the default box model. Box dimensions are affected by border thickness and padding. Let's review what you learned. In the default box model, box dimensions are affected by border thickness and padding. The box sizing property controls the box model used by the browser. And the default value of the box sizing property is content box. The value for the new box model is border box. The border box model is not affected by border thickness or padding. Take some time to experiment with your new knowledge of the box model and style.css. When you're done, proceed to the next unit. Wait a minute, what's the difference between the new box model and the border box? They look the same thing. Okay, so it's called the new box model, but the property is called box sizing, and the value is border box. All right, and we finished this lesson. Yay! The next is what? What are we going to do next? The next time we stream. What is that? Is that a quiz? Up next. It's a quiz. Let's take this quiz now. Why is it so slow? Alright. Let's begin. Which of the following accurately explains the CSS code below? The div.headline elements will have a width of 300 pixels and be horizontally and vertically centered on the page. Well, this one is top and bottom, and the second value would be left and right, so this would center it horizontally since the left and right are equal. The width is 300 pixels. It will center it only horizontally. No margins? Yes, we do have a margin. It is determined by auto. The div.headline elements will have a width of 300 pixels. Yeah. A vertical margin of 0. I think that sounds right. And will be horizontally centered with their parent container. This sounds right. Yay, we got it. Oh, this is a long quiz. Assuming the dot box element below is the only element on the page, what is the total height calculated by using the given CSS properties? The total height calculated will be a height of 125 px plus the top border and the bottom border, which is 1 pixel, so that will be 125 plus 1 equals 127. Do we have 127? We don't have 127. Oh, wait. We have to also include their padding. I didn't see that. There's padding on the top and bottom, so that's 127 plus 10 times 2 equals to 127 plus 20, which is 147. Oh, yes, it exists. There you go, 125 plus 2 10s plus 2 1s. In the sample code below, the element with ID 1, this has an ID 1, is directly above the element with ID 2 in the HTML document. How much space is between the border of element 1 and the border of element 2? So they're asking about the cumulative adjacent vertical margin. That would be 20 plus 30, but because no, it is not 20 plus 30. Only the horizontal adjacent margin are cumulative, but the vertical adjacent margin is the maximum of these two. So it would be 30 pixels. Correct! it will not add together, but will collapse to the larger value of the two 30 pixels. And that is, they call that margin collapse. Which of the following will set the vertical padding to 20 pixels and horizontal padding to 40 pixels? The first value is top and bottom, so that's vertical. So the first one should be 20 pixels. And the horizontal left and the second value will be left and right, which is a horizontal padding. So this looks correct to me. Correct! When padding is provided two values. The first controls vertical padding and the second controls horizontal padding. I like how they said that. Which of the following will set the right padding to 10 pixels? Bottom padding to 15 pixels, left to 20 pixels, and top padding to 25 pixels. Okay, so wait, the right is to 10. So the order of the values it describes the top, right, bottom, left. So if the right one is 10 pixels, then the second one has to be 10 pixels, which is one of these two. And if the bottom is 15 pixels, top, right, bottom, left, then the third one has to be 15 pixels. So it's the first one. Correct! When four values are provided to padding or margin, they are applied in the order top, right, bottom, left. Top, right, bottom, left. Easy to remember. It's like a clockwise direction. What property affects the space between the border of an element and its surrounding elements? The border of an element and its surrounding elements. That would be margin. Do y'all want to see the box model and the inspection element? You got it! Next, which of the following is not part of the CSS box model? That's on the outside, that's right inside of the border, which is also part of the box model. So div, this is an HTML element. Which of the following properties control how to display content that is too large for its container? Oh yeah, we talked about it in the previous stream. That would be overflow. You got it! Which property should fill the blank in the following CSS code snippet? So this is something that would describe the border style. This describes the border color. This describes the border size, the thickness. And so this would be describing the border. Correct! Border shorthand syntax. That's what it was. Let's use set the width, style, and color all in one line. Shorthand. Which of the following CSS properties control the size of an element's content? The size of an element's content? Well, these are usually in addition to the content. So it's really the height and width that controls the size of the content. Which of the following will set the top and bottom margins to 15 pixels and left and right margins to 30 pixels? So remember when we said earlier, top and bottom, it will be the first value. This is also shorthand using two values to describe a margin. The first one is the top and bottom. The second value is the left and right. So this one looks right. You got it! What is the name of the space between the content container and the border? What is the name of the space between the content container? So that's the innermost of the box model. And border is right outside the padding. Okay, so padding is in between these two. Correct! Padding is the space between the content and border. And if you weren't here to check it out, let me show you. Let me show you. Let me show you. The developer tools. Let me show you box model. They always have it right here. That's the content, that's the border, and right in between those is the padding. All right. 100%! What's next? Well, that's it for this stream. See y'all next time. Thanks for running with me.